After the cliffhanger, fans have all had theories about, where's the show going to go now? What happened to Peter and everything?
Yes.
I know you're, in addition to being on the show, you're a fan of the show as well. Were you couldn't wait to get your hand on that first script?
Oh yeah, and we had to wait 2 months. I mean, I only read it. We started shooting the first episode on last Thursday. I had that week, the beginning of that week was the first sort of time I got to read it. And yeah, it was, I kept calling and emailing. So guys, how's writer's camp?
And when you read it, I know you can't give anything away, but did it sort of live up to your expectations? Were you surprised by it?
I think Fringe tends to do it a lot in that you kind of, they feed you little bits, and then they'll move very quickly, and then it'll be little bits, and then they'll move very quickly. So I've just read the second episode, and we're sort of starting to go quickly. So it's again another thing that they do so well too is every time we sort of start a season, we really do get to meet everybody kind of again. And of course, this season, not everybody's there to be met.
Looking back at last season, it was just kind of an epic, amazing season. Your work was just incredible, and all the different roles and everything. How do you feel when you look back at just,
Oh, I just loved last season. I loved doing it, and that's sort of the bit, because you spend so much time actually doing it, and, people were always asking, you had so much more to do, was that, much more exhausting? And it's the opposite, actually, because you're more engaged, so everything always goes quicker and is sort of more fun to do. And it was our third year as well, and our second year in Vancouver, and so everything just sort of found its way, and everyone sort of found their place, I think. I'm excited about this season as well, because I know that there's going to be a whole lot more interaction, which I didn't do last year. Last year we sort of flipped back and forth, so we had these two characters, but they didn't play opposite each other. But this year they're going to, so I need to be very clear on who they both are, because it'll be glaringly obvious when it's just them in a scene.
But that's going to be a lot more work for you, because you actually now have to shoot the scene twice, essentially. And
learn both sides of it too.
Right.
And we've just started having conversations about how to do that, and it's kind of interesting, because it's sort of, you would think that it would be much easier if you had another actor there to play with, but what happens is acting is essentially just reacting, and so if you have someone opposite you, you can't help but feed off what they're doing. So I'm thinking maybe it's going to be better just to have someone very neutral looking at the floor and maybe put an earwig in, or I don't know. I was talking to John about that today too, seeing what he's going to do. But yeah, more work, but fun stuff, so
yeah,
can't complain.
So will it be just like a body double that you'll be talking to, or a stand-in?
I don't know. That's next time I talk to you, I'll let you know what we decide. But yeah, I think that it will be a photo double, because we'll have to obviously do over-the-shoulder stuff, and it's just working out whether to have an actress or whether just to actually have just a neutral kind of body. And I'm feeling a little bit like I'd prefer to err on the side of just something very neutral, so that I can remember my own pacing, and so I can remember my own movement, which I think is going to be kind of weird. I don't know how that's going to go. We haven't shot one of those scenes yet, but I know they're coming.
Yeah. And is it fun? Seth is around full-time
this
season?
The Seth on this side I didn't really meet or work with. That was all during the Bell stuff.
Right.
And we didn't have any interaction, so it's been really quite strange working, and also because it's Olivia too, they just have a completely different relationship, so that's been really strange, because it's Seth, but not really.
The balance between mythology and self-contained episodes last season, it seemed to shift a little bit more, became more mythology heavy. Do you think at this point, it feels like it's going in a direction of they're making the show for the fans now? It's not about let's try to get a mainstream audience. We have our viewers, we have our fans.
Yeah.
Do you get a sense that it's going to be mostly just mythology now?
I'm not sure. I believe it. I believe that too, and I think that's a nice place to be, actually, because that's the more satisfying stories for us to play, and there's like a forward motion to them too. But I think what they were starting to get really good at, and what I think will probably follow through into this season, is the idea that that the standalones can still be standalones, provided the event is sort of connected to one of our guys, and I think that's what they did kind of start doing, and so I think this season they'll probably incorporate that a little bit more too. It's not just random people; it's connected to the characters that you know.
Right. So what happened to Peter?
I have no idea. Well, what happened to him, I know. What happened is he found the machine and vanished, right?
No, you know the question I'm asking. What happened to him?
I don't know.
Just us.
Just us. Just quietly. Okay. Well, why?
Let's talk.
I don't know. Could you imagine if I just did?